So this is the new iPhone 13, and just to add to it, Apple iPhone 13 Pro. We just got it. So this year you have a new sensor shift camera sensor, a 20% smaller notch, but most importantly, in India it is priced the same as last year's iPhone 12 series, which makes the whole market interesting because there's iPhone 12 as well at 65,990. Interesting Indian iPhone scene. I am excited about it. You are gonna have fun. We are not wasting any time. This is Prateek. You're already watching TechWiser. We'll find out about the iPhone 13 series, but before that, subscribe to TechWiser and hit the bell icon as well. Please, let's go. So the box is getting pretty minimal these days. There's absolutely no plastic here. And even the phone doesn't come covered in plastic. You get a Type-C to Lightning cable, some stickers, paperwork, and a SIM ejector tool. So no charger, no plastic, quite environment friendly. The same is with iPhone 13 Pro as well. Now the most interesting thing here is, of course, first the layout. You have two separate volume buttons here on the left, alert switch, and power button right over here. Still a lightning port at the bottom. Fun fact, the European Union is proposing to have Type-C ports on every electronic devices. So if that law comes in, you might probably see Type-C port on iPhone 14 going forward. Pretty amazing. You've got a speaker grill over here and a second stereo speaker at the top. Now, two interesting things. We have the iPhone 12 and iPhone 13, same blue color. So have a look here. The blue color on the iPhone 12 and this is the blue color on iPhone 13. A light shade of blue on iPhone 13, mostly pastel blue if you say. Second, if you see right here, the notch is now 20% smaller, but the bezels are a bit more on the iPhone 13 now compared to the iPhone 12. Also, the camera position on iPhone 13 is different now. So if you know, you can still distinguish between iPhone 12 and iPhone 13 in public, just to judge people, you know. Now let's keep the iPhone 12 out, get back to the iPhone 13 Pro. The 13 Pro is so solid build. If you look at the stainless steel frame, there's of course a huge weight difference between them as well. The 13 is lighter because of the aluminum frame instead of stainless steel frame, smaller battery and no telephoto camera. Now the iPhone 13 has a 6.1 inch 60Hz OLED display. Now iPhone 13 Pro on the other hand has a 6.1 inch 120Hz OLED display, and also Apple has promised that typical brightness of iPhone 13 is 200 nits brighter than the previous series. So if you see here, here's iPhone 12 on the left and iPhone 13 on the right, and if you see in the camera viewfinder, if I manually increase the brightness of both the displays, the iPhone 13 seems brighter. You can see the zebra pattern over there, the overexposed area, that shows it's brighter. Now in the case of people who don't know, when you manually increase the brightness, the displays don't reach maximum brightness. And here if you see side by side on the iPhone 13 and 13 Pro, you can see the difference in animation. Like, I don't know how much it is visible on camera, but to my eye, I can feel the difference. Now the camera is the most interesting part of the iPhone 13 series. So on the iPhone 13, you have a 12 megapixel f1.6 main sensor, 12 megapixel f2.4 ultra wide sensor and a 12 megapixel f2.2 selfie camera. And here it's interesting. The iPhone 13 Pro has a 12 megapixel f1.5 main sensor, 12 megapixel f1.8 ultra wide sensor which has autofocus, so it can also act as a macro camera. A 3x 12 megapixel f2.8 telephoto camera extra. On the front, you have the same 12 megapixel f2.2 selfie camera. The first thing here I noticed in the camera app is now you have dedicated buttons to switch between all the three lenses instead of tapping on the same icon like iPhone 12 or before. Now this time, Apple has brought sensor shift stabilization on all iPhone 13 series. Now you might ask, what is sensor shift? Well, it's really interesting, and to better explain it to you, there are three types of stabilization. EIS, you don't require any hardware. The camera app does it by cropping in and out. OIS, here if you see, you have the lens here and this is the camera sensor. So when you move up and down, the lens just goes up and down to tackle your hand movement. That is OIS. Then you have sensor shift. This is where both the sensor and the lens move up and down to tackle your hand movement. So sensor shift was already on a lot of DSLR and mirrorless camera. Now it has come down to smartphones. It's really good to see that. So now talking about photos, we took a lot of photos with iPhone 13 and iPhone 13 Pro. Here's them side by side. Now in proper daylight conditions, very little difference to say. Here in cautious picture, the shirt is a bit more detailed on the iPhone 13 Pro, as you can see. And if you talk the wide angle camera, the iPhone 13 Pro has a better f1.8 ultra wide angle camera, and it shows. Here the sofa has more light. And for the front selfie camera, you can be the judge. I could hardly see a difference. In terms of stabilization, here is both 4K 60 and 4K 30. It's a very close fight. The main sensors are more or less the same. 13 Pro can also do macro photos, and those are really good. Like this grasshopper photo, it's my favorite. Also very interesting, there is no dedicated macro camera mode on iPhone. So you just go close to the subject and it switches to the macro mode. Like see here, this glitch. Not very eye pleasing, so Apple has promised to push an update and you will see a dedicated macro mode in the camera app rather than this glitch. The new camera sensor should give you a huge advantage on the iPhone 13 in especially low light. So we'll wait for the sun to set and have some really good night mode photos. The main sensor photos in night were almost the same. I could say the 13 Pro can fetch more light due to f1.5 aperture, but yeah. On the ultra wide angle, the difference was visible. The 13 Pro looked better. Now the 13 Pro can also do 3x telephoto in night mode. Now we did some cinematic video in low light. You can see the focus rack shifting from me to Manu, but it's more of a hit or miss as of now. So it will be more improved with further software updates, and we'll cover all of that in the review. For performance now, you get Apple A15 Bionic on iPhone 13 and 13 Pro. It's a 6-core CPU with 2 performance cores and 4 power efficiency cores, and you get a 4-core GPU. Now A14 was already fast, but the interesting thing is Apple said in the launch event that it is 50% faster than the competition. Not from the last iPhone, but the competition, which is of course Snapdragon 888. So unique of Apple. So yes, BGMI folks will play BGMI. The maximum graphics available is Ultra HD, or you can drop back to smooth graphics and ultra frame rates. There's no 90 FPS on the iPhone 13 or the iPhone 13 Pro. Now iPhone 13 also comes with iOS 15. We have covered iOS 15 in detail on techvisor.com. I'll try to leave links to some good articles below if you want for a further read. But to show you a couple of features, now you can copy directly from images, like take the text, paste it like this on the keyboard. Some strong AI performance, folks. Now this is so cool. Android should do this, like really. Now in any app that you do video calls, let's take WhatsApp video calls for that example. You'll start a video call, you swipe down and you'll have the option to start a portrait video call. Works in every video call app. Plus, if you're on a video call, you have the option to mute noise cancellation within the iPhone. Like these are really good features, man. Like it's not exclusive to the iPhone 13 only. You'll get it on iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 mini as well. And funny thing, there's still no always on display. I mean, come on Apple at this point. And also still no battery percentage icon. So maybe you have to wait for iOS 16 for all of that. Now, as per Apple, the battery has improved on iPhone 13 series. Apple said in the event that you will get 1.5 hours or more battery life on the iPhone 12 mini, and for iPhone 13, you will get 2.5 hours more battery life than iPhone 12. So now if you're wondering if 1.5 hours and 2.5 hours are screen on time, well, no. Apple says it's a normal Apple user usage, like watching videos, scrolling web pages, etc, etc. It's random. So as per Phone Arena, in terms of specs, you have a 2425 mAh battery on iPhone 13 and 3240 mAh on iPhone 13. So yeah, the battery is bigger now. How much exactly? Well, we'll do a battery rundown soon. We'll see. You will see. Okay, so about iPhone 13 and iPhone 13 Pro. Now it's just first impressions and personal opinion. I don't see a huge jump in iPhone 13 from iPhone 12. Yes, you do get a better main sensor and better low light performance and a slightly brighter display in day-to-day usage. The real deal is the iPhone 13 Pro, which gives you a 120Hz refresh rate, night mode on 3x telephoto camera, macro camera, and a better ultra wide angle sensor. So in simple words, if you're considering iPhone 13, then I would say do get the iPhone 13 Pro if money is not an issue. If money is an issue, then consider the iPhone 12 over iPhone 13. And let me know what videos you would like to see. More importantly, iPhone 13 versus iPhone 12. Like iPhone 12 and iPhone 13 would be very close and heated, so there has to be a comparison between both the phones to show you how much you lose and what. Let me know what you think about that. We would definitely be reviewing the entire iPhone lineup, so you get a clear idea and make a wise purchase. On that note, this is Prateek signing off. Like the video. See you pretty soon.